Hey, what is going on? Okay, so I am a little under the weather, but I just clean my nose so I can breathe for the next few minutes. um, so today we're talking about some business and namely some finance. And as you all know, the stock market has been falling, it's been dropping, and I am here to let you know that although the stock market has been dropping, it is not a time to panic, at least not yet. And I also want to note that, part of the Great Depression back in the 1930s, um, part of that could have been, I don't want to say it could have been avoided, but part of that wouldn't have been so drastic had people not panicked as they did back then. But, it's the fear of the unknown, right? And that's what happens. That's what instills panic in people in the first place, is that fear. So it's really important to just know yourself, know your worth, and know what you are capable of doing. And let me also note this: if you can hustle, you know what I mean? If you know you got degrees in hustlenomics, you know what I'm saying? Then you gonna be all right regardless. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world because you know how to hustle at the end of the day. So it's not gonna be the end of the world um when the market crashes. I just want you to know that. Yes, it may feel like it's the end of the world. Yes, you may be broke, but if you done been broke before, you know how to get back. You know what I mean? Everybody has a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, a bad year. It happens on a more frequent basis than you would be um on a more frequent basis you would be surprised to actually know. Motherfuckers is struggling right now in this day. Motherfuckers is having a horrible year right now. So, listen, it happens. That's how balance is created. What goes up must come down. That's just to keep shit balanced. Period. Um, the U.S. is one of the wealthiest, richest countries in the world. So please believe that us as individuals and us as a country will bounce back quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I just want to note that when, with regards to the stock market, not to say that the other countries aren't, you know, um, not to not to say anything regarding the other countries, because I understand that I do have a listener base all over the world, and I appreciate you guys. I love y'all to death, and shout out to all my listeners everywhere. But this is one of the reasons why the U.S. is so hated, because we're one of the wealthiest countries, because we're not a third world country, because there's so many factors that go into it. And with the stock market crashing, that's just a piece of it. That's just a piece of the puzzle. It doesn't define the whole situation at all by far. The stock market isn't what makes the world go round. It's people that make the world go round. Period. At the end of the day. I said that to say, let's talk about it. So, there's a panic on Wall Street right now. Whatever. I mean, not really, but it's just not a time to panic. The market did drop 20% this week. But it's not the end of the world. And it's because, markets go up and go down. And smart investors know that you plan for the long term, not the short term instant gratification. Um, According to Start Stacking, the market was on fire in 2018 until it wasn't. That 20% drop erased all of the gains that we had seen. But it's not a time to panic because, like I said, markets go up and down. Yes, this is more than usual, but smart investors think long term, not short term, which I mentioned that too. And one thing that you may not be aware of, and this is even further of a reason as to why it's not really a time to panic, is because even though the market dropped this week 20%, it's still up big since 2015. And that's good. And what's even better is you can invest regularly. If you invest regularly, you can take advantage of dips like this by seeing larger gains down the long road. And they call that buying the dip. But of course, before you can buy the dip, you got to grow your stack. Hence why the Lambot is called Start Stacking. So for those of you who don't know what Start Stacking is, they have an Instagram page, and basically they share information on how you can grow your stack of money, that is. And it's really cool because they give you different ways that you can grow your money. So this is something that I seen on Instagram, and I said, let me follow them. Let me get some, cause I'm pretty, business savvy. Let me get some information and kind of pick their brains and see what they're talking about. So one of the ways that you grow your stack, according to Start Stacking, is by setting a savings reminder. Even $10 a week can make a significant difference over a long period of time. Of course, in the short term instant gratification, it's not going to do much. But in the grand scheme of things, over that long money, those deep pockets, that long term run, you will gain significantly. I mean, even in 10 years, or I'm sorry, not 10 years, even in 4 years, if you save $10 a week with a high interest savings account, you will have gained in just 4 years $100 on top of the $10 a week that you have saved. So that's a pretty significant difference. You will have saved a little over $2,000 and $2,080 to be exact, but you'll have earned an additional $100 on top of that. So that's a pretty significant difference, because basically you're earning it's almost like compound interest, but compound interest doesn't work. It works similar to that, but it doesn't work exactly like that. But with not with compound interest, but just with that $10 a week, if you start, first week of January, boom, put away $10, and you just save $10 throughout the whole year, then you have $520 at the end of the year. Well, the interest on that with a high interest savings account would be somewhere around $10, depending on what exactly the percentage is. So by the end of the year, instead of having the $520 that you put in, instead of a regular bank account, a regular savings account, which is at like 0.01% or point most bank accounts are at 0.1%. Most bank accounts are at, you know, one less than, it's like a tenth of a cent is what most savings accounts are at. You have to look at, you know, the actual fee schedules as far as to know what you're actually saving, but most are very, very low, like not even a whole percent on your money, which means you're not gaining a whole lot of interest at all. But yeah, so, you know, just setting a savings reminder, $10 a week can make a difference. You just have to make sure, like I said, that you're not using no interest or super low interest, a no good savings account. You need to find one that pays at least 2%. Otherwise, you're basically losing money. And so Start Stacking can help with that. They have listed here 7 different banks that that give you 7 different banks that give you at least 2% or more for savings and money market accounts. And there, from what I'm looking at, there's actually, so I'll go through a couple of them with you. You have Citizens Access. You have Personal Savings by American Express. You have Marcus by Goldman Sachs. You have Barclays, Synchrony Bank, Ally Bank, which is the one that I have, Capital One, and listed on here is also E-Trade, but they're at 1.9%. And then to avoid fees with E-Trade, you need to have $1,000 in that account. The minimum balance to open the account is $1, and of course you can't do any check writing. You don't need to, because it's supposed to be used as a savings account. And the monthly fee is $10 if you have a balance less than $1,000, and that's for the E-Trade account. And for the Capital One, they pay right at 2%. The minimum balance to open a Capital One account is $10,000. So if you are big time balling, this is a great account to open. And I thought someone was crawling on me. Y'all know I was finna have a heart attack. I'm sorry, I lost my whole train of thought. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're big balling like that, make sure you have a Vanguard account as well, because that's a really good option to have, especially if you're looking to get into the stock market, buying the dip. You know, it is a great time to buy certain stocks. You just need to consult, okay, with you can consult with a broker. I would say better consulting would come from an economist. And really, if you really want to be secure, you consult with the broker, you consult with an economist, and you consult with either a financial analyst or a financial planner to really help you with your decision as far as what stocks to buy, and just paying attention to the market as well, seeing what stocks are up, what stocks are down. That's always a good way to kind of, you can't I'm gonna get into this on a later date, but you can't time the market, and as you can make predictions, but that's just all that they are. It's predictions. They're assumptions. They're based on certain behaviors. So there's no way of actually timing the market. There's just a smart way of knowing how to invest. And that's all that it is just being smart about your investments, period. Just really learning different ways that you can invest. And that's what the market is all about. Like, for example, if you look at the market in a different light, look at the market as being summer, winter, fall, spring. So in wintertime, because the markets go through seasons, just like just like everything else. Like when they're up, and it's golden. When they're down, and it's not good. Well, wintertime is a great time to buy for a particular stock. Now, the wintertime for that particular stock does not mean there's no correlation with whatever actual season that the weather pattern is in. So I want to make that clear. There's no correlation to when, right now it's the winter time, but that does not mean that the stocks so those in particular that you may be looking at is in its winter season. Okay. So there's just different times to buy different times that you can buy and really get good deals, and you have to know when you have to be smart about your investments and just kind of know when the market, not when the market, because the market is different. For a lot of stocks are different. They fluctuate and go up and down. Sometimes when one stock is up, other stocks are down, and that also is to keep the balance. So you have to know when a particular stock that you're looking at is in its winter season. That's when it's a good time to buy, because guess what? Like I said earlier, what goes up must come down, and what's down has no choice but to go all the way up. Like Remy Mine, Fat Joe said, all the way up. Nothing can stop us. So that's just a little caveat about that there. I want to go back to this saving $10. But before I do, I'm gonna continue with some of these different bank accounts that you can open. I told you about Capital One. I told you about E-Trade. I told you that I have Ally. Ally is 2% bank account. There's no minimum balance to open it. There's no fees. There's no monthly fees. And of course, there's no check writing. So, of course, that's why I decided to go with Ally, because it was you didn't need anything to open it. Now, Synchrony Bank is about the same. It doesn't specify it doesn't specify how much you need in the account to avoid any fees, but there's no minimum balance to open the account, and they're at not 2.5%, they're at 2.05%. The Barclays is at the same amount, 2.05%. Interest is what you would gain on any money put into that account. There's no minimum balance to open a Barclays account. There's no check writing fees, and there's no certain amount that you need to avoid fees. So you don't have to put a minimum in the account to avoid fees. Marcus by Goldman Sachs is also at 2.05%, and their minimum balance is $1. Again, same thing. There's no amount that you need to have in there to avoid fees. There's no monthly fees, and of course, there's no check writing. Um, Personal savings by American Express, they're at 2.1%. It's the minimum, balance of $1 to open. And if you know anything, Amex, American Express, that's for sure not a bad way to go. There's 0 monthly fees, and so you don't need you don't need a certain amount to avoid those fees. I also want to say that if you're in check systems, some of these accounts you may not be able to open because you cannot open a bank account for the most part with most banks. Not with all banks, but with most banks, you can't open a bank account if you're in check systems, because that means you had a bank account more often than not. You had a bank account, you didn't make good on it. There was a bunch of fees they say you owe, and they either didn't put that on your credit report, but they put you in check systems or whatever. There's a number of reasons why you could be in check systems. But if you cannot open one of these accounts, chances are you're probably in check systems. And that's basically a consumer reporting agency that, reports on your behavior when it comes to how you manage your money. So it is very important to make sure that you are not in check systems so that you can open one of these accounts so that your money can grow. If you just are stashing your money at home in, a safe, while it's great to have cash, and don't get me wrong, I am a big advocate for having, some money somewhere. I don't believe that you should have all your money in one bank, all your money, in one particular area. Definitely think you should have your money spread across couple different things can happen. But if your money is in the bank, it's FDIC insured, so that just means that in case something happens, you are guaranteed to get the majority of your money back. I'm not gonna say all your money because it's only guaranteed up to a certain amount. So it's a risk either way it goes. But if you have your money in an account, your money can grow, as opposed to having it at home where your money is not growing. So Citizens Access Bank is the highest, has the highest percentage on the list of, there's a total of 8. I recommend going with one of the 7 that has 2% or higher. Citizens Access is at 2.25%, so they're at 2.25%, which is really, really good. The minimum balance to open it is $5,000, but there is no monthly fee, and there is no amount that you need to avoid any fees because there are no monthly fees. And of course, you can't write a check. Now, these are not the only banks that have high interest. These are just kind of some options that are recommended because you can, and they're also recommended for my particular zip code. So you can put in your zip code, and then you can put in, savings and money market accounts, and they will show you what is available to you based on your zip code, and what's going to be, in your best interest to open. I said that to say, start stacking. And if you already have money stacked, look at some of these stocks, man, because it is a good time to buy the dip. So, look at some of these Look at some of these behaviors, look at some of these patterns, get with a financial planner, get with a economist, get with a please don't. I would even say potentially get with an accountant, Don't just and get with a broker, because they definitely have more knowledge. But if somebody is talking to you about timing the market, quit talking to them, because that's it's not gonna work out well. Because the one time that they might time the market and it's great, and then the next time they time the market and it's a huge fail. So just get that whole concept. Just get that whole concept of timing the market out of your mind. I also want to take a minute to talk to my people. And by my people, I mean, well, and this is not just I was gonna say black people, but this is not true. This is for my people in the struggle. That's what it's for. I'm not gonna associate that with black people, because not all black people are in the struggle. So for my people that are in the struggle, my people that are paycheck to paycheck, my people that are struggling to make ends meet, let me tell you something. That $10 a week, you need to get on that. If you're not already on that, you get on that $10 a week, and I would say that's the minimum. And I know you paycheck to paycheck people, $10 a week, you can do that. You can do that. I don't care what areas you got to cut back on. $10 a week, you can do that. And here's the thing: hide it from yourself, or put it into one of these accounts, because you're not gonna get a debit card for the majority of these accounts. So you gonna have that money sitting in there online, and you ain't gonna be able to touch it. You might get statements for it, you can maybe see it, but you ain't gonna be able to touch it. Which brings me to what I want to say when I said this for my people. So for my people, my kind of people, because I am a paycheck to paycheck kind of person. Although I am really, I would say this year was really the last of the Mohicans. This is the last year that I am paycheck to paycheck, because now I'm a full-time entrepreneur. So things are a little bit different. It's shifting. But one thing I've never been as long as I've been paycheck to paycheck, I've always been paycheck to paycheck with some money in my pocket. Like, I'm never really like broke, like, gotta roll the coins up to, get by till my next paycheck, kind of thing. It's don't get me wrong, it has happened, but usually there's not a significant stretch of from when that, it's just, it doesn't happen often. It's what I'm trying to say. But so recently I was down in LA. Shout out to y'all. I love LA. I've been, me and LA been flirting back and forth. Whatever. We'll see what is to come of that in 2019. You're definitely going to see some major changes. But while I was down there, I had to do a couple of things. I was down there on business. I was down there taking some continuing education classes. All that good stuff. Had a great time over there on the golf course. I was in Monte Vista. I think I was in Monte Vista. I don't know. I was somewhere like in LA, but like on the outside of LA. I wasn't in the heart of LA because I was on the golf course, but and I wasn't golfing. I was just taking a class. That's where my continuing education class was held. Was at the golf course. Oftentimes people rent out the meeting rooms and whatnot at a luxurious place, and so that's where we were. We had lunch. It was great. Although I did throw up. I have no idea what that was about. Everything was good. I had salmon. It was fire. And then I had this cake that was amazing, or so it looked. And my stomach was like, nope, nah. Mm-mm. So, I mean, I ate the cake, and then probably about 20 minutes after I ate the cake, I had to throw that cake up, which was, I don't know what it was. The salmon didn't come up. It was just cake. So I don't know. But, my body was like, no, negative, not at all. So the other reason that I was down there is because I have been saying, I think I said in 2016 or 2017, that I wanted to do this. There was this book. It's called My Black Year. I believe is the name of the title of it. Well, this lady, she's from Chicago, and she goes the whole year with just trying to support black-owned businesses and trying to do, like, everything she does is supporting black-owned businesses and whatnot. And she's having the hardest of hardest times because, black people don't make everything. Black people don't have everything. Like, black-owned gas station, black-owned, just everything. Black-owned grocery stores, just everything that she could do, to go a full year as an experiment to see if she could live off of just, do a business with her people. And she was able to accomplish it. Excuse me, I haven't read the book. I was told about the book. So, there, she tells you about her challenges, her struggles in the book and whatnot. But again, she's in Chicago, so a little bit different. I don't think there's necessarily more black-owned businesses in Chicago. There might be. It's very possible. But there are, for sure, more black-owned businesses that service, that are more products and services in terms of like what we actually need versus what we actually want. So, like in California, there's not too many, black owned farms. There's not too many black owned gas stations. There's not so it's just in terms of that aspect. And excuse me for a second here while I had to drink my tea because I told y'all that I was sick. Anywho, so while I was in LA, I opened my Black bank account, and this was something that I had wanted to do since 2016 when I heard about this book. 2016, 2017, something like that. When I heard about this book, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, I want to support my people. I want to, I want all my stuff to be black, and it doesn't have anything to do with me being anti-white or racist or prejudice or anything like that. It's just we as black people at a significant disadvantage. And, if there's anything that I can do to help support my people, Because we are constantly existing and constantly struggling because we are constantly in the mindset of survival as opposed to in the mindset of thriving. I want to be, able to do that. I want to make sure that I'm practicing what I preach. I want to make sure that I'm an advocate for that. Now, I said that to say that after about the first month or month and a half of me trying to, make sure I'm supporting these black owned businesses, these black owned things, I was like, you know what, I'm not finna do this to myself. Because it was so much. Because here in California, in Northern California, there was such a lack of the things that I actually needed. Not the things that I wanted, the things that I actually needed. There was such a huge lack of that I was just like, this is too hard. This is, I'm going to stress myself out trying to do this. Anywho, one of the things that I said, and one of the things that is a pillar in a community that you need to have a thriving community is a bank. Now, there's 4 pillars that you really need to have. You need to have a hospital, you need to have a bank, you need to have a school, and you need to have food, grocery, right? Those are the 4 pillars that you need to have a thriving community. Okay. Well, we don't have hospitals, at least none that are, black owned. Medical centers, yes. Hospitals, no. We're talking 2 different things. Schools, we have some that are doing what they need to do, which is great, and I've been a part of them growing and really, taking it to the next level, which just gave me an idea, and I need to email somebody on Facebook. And then the bank, well, there's no black owned banks in Northern California. And there's no black owned grocery stores in Northern California. However, we do have some black owned farms, which is really nice. So we're almost there. We're getting there. It's almost there. It's coming. Don't worry about it. It's cool. We got this. But I wanted to at least have a piece. I wanted to at least do my part. And needless to say, LA did not make it easy for me to do this, to get a black owned bank account. Now, you can open the black owned bank account. Some of them you can open online, which is great, but because I've had a past history of identity theft, my credit information is like locked down. It's not super secure, but it's definitely locked down. So you can't just use my credit and think that I'm not going to get an alert, that I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Like, it's good. Like, every time you try it, it's not going to necessarily allow you to use it, because there's all kind of like passwords and codes and stuff like that that you need to unlock in order to actually successfully use my credit. So because of that, I wasn't able to open my account online. So I just said, well, I'm going to wait till I go down to LA. Well, when I went down to LA, and when I was down there, banks are on, there are certain locations of where the bank is. And then 2, they have, their hours are not like regular banking hours. for example, some of the more major banks like Chase and Wells Fargo, they're open on Saturdays till at least 2. Some of them are in stores and open till 7. Some of them are open till 4. That kind of thing. Well, the black-owned bank, one of their locations was only open till 12 noon on a Saturday. One of their locations closed at 4:30 on a Friday, Monday through Friday. So it just wasn't an easy task. But I said all that to say I finally got it done. And this is why it's important for you all to know about this. So I opened One United bank account, and what I did was, again, the service was it just wasn't an easy task. I went in there wanting to open a business account. We couldn't do that because they needed an extra document that some major banks like Chase and Wells Fargo and Bank of America and all that don't need. So they just take an extra layer of precaution, which is good on their behalf, but it's not great on my behalf because I wasn't aware. I definitely should have called before going down there to open the account. However, I wasn't 100% sure that I was even going to have time to even be able to open this account. So I'm glad I did. I finally got it done. And I was looking, and then when I got there, I was like, oh shit, I didn't pull out any money out of my other account. So I don't even have any cash on me. But then I was like, well, I could write a check. All right, cool. That'll work. To open the account, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what am I thinking? Clearly, this was very like last minute, and I had some extra time, so I was like, okay, cool, let me go open this account. Well, I got some extra time, and I'm done early with this class. So, One United, something that they don't advertise, at least I haven't seen it advertised, which they should be promoting this more. And I mean, they may be, because I'm not in LA all that often, so they may be promoting this more. But one thing that they have that I really appreciate is one thing that they have that I really appreciate is they have a holiday savings account. So in addition to that, or in conjunction with that $10 a month that sorry, I thought it was something else on me. This thing is slipping. Oh my goodness. See what happens when I'm trying to give y'all some good ass information. So they have a holiday club savings account. This, to me, they need to be promoting this all year long. Like this, from now until next year. Like this, I need to see Facebook ads for this, for people that fall under a certain income or whatever, like minorities in a certain area. Like this is what I need to see targeted at people in certain income brackets, certain tax brackets. I need to see this type of marketing and targeting. And you don't have to spend a lot of money on Facebook, but I need to see this. You know what I mean? This should be coming up. I mean, at the same time, I probably won't see it, but I need to hear about it from other people, because this needs to be in the conversation 200%. Like they have, and this is the account that I ended up opening because I wasn't able to do nothing else, and they did not make it easy for me to do anything else, which, again, you got to listen, you want me to support you. Oh, excuse me. You want me to support you. Don't make it difficult for me to support you, because if you make it difficult for me to support you, I'm not going to support you. I'm going to go to somebody else. I'm going to go to the next Tom, Dick, and Harry that's going to make it hella easy for me to support them. Period. Like, don't be fucking difficult. It's not that deep. Like, I understand that all your I's need to be dotted and all your T's need to be crossed. And this is just another example of, when you are when you are, a person of color, that you got to work 2, 3, 4 times as hard, but don't make it 2, 3, 4 times as difficult for people to support you, because they're not going to support you in that way. And that's probably why One United Bank, along with many other black banks, have not seen the significant, support by people of color, or people that are not of color. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have, your color don't determine your bank account. The only color that determines your bank account is green, and ain't nobody walking around here green. So your color don't determine your bank account. It's your drive and your persistence and your consistency that determines your bank account and the numbers that you earn. Yes, is there a disadvantage for people of color? Absolutely. That's not debatable. That's not what we're debating. But what I'm saying is, there's still a significant amount of people that make a significant amount of income, and they are people of color. Whether you're Indian, whether you're Ukrainian, whether you're, black, Mexican, whatever. A significant amount of people that make good money. So you got to make it easy for the minorities to support you, if that is your focus. But you got to make it easy for people, period, to support you. Otherwise, people are not going to support you. And I miss me with that whole, well, I'm going to go back and do it, and we going to do it again, and we going to do it again until they get it right. Man, look, fuck all that. I'm not here for none of that shit. Let me tell you something. If I go into a white-owned business and they not working hard for my money, I'm leaving, period. No questions asked. I will not be back unless it is an absolute have to, must have. It is a need that I need to go back. The same thing is going to happen when I walk into an Asian business. The same thing is going to happen when I walk into a Mexican business. The same thing is going to happen when I walk into a black business, period. I'm not dealing with the tomfoolery. You going to work hard to get my money, or you not going to get it. It's that simple. I work too hard for this money. I don't care if I'm a full-time entrepreneur or if I'm somebody that, works at McDonald's. I work too hard for my money to just let it do whatever. So, miss me with any of those shenanigans. Fuck all that. We gonna come back and do it till no, I'm gonna give you my feedback if I care enough, and we're gonna be done. If you decide to change your policies, okay, well, then maybe I'll come back in. If you correct the things that I was mad at, okay, well, maybe I'll check you out at a later date, significantly further down the road. But I'm not gonna come back time in and time out again and just you keep being the same thing over and over. Listen, I don't go around the corner to the liquor store because y'all don't work hard enough for my money. And when I come in, when I ask you for stuff, you didn't try to short me on my change. You didn't try to argue with me about shorting me on my you finna argue with me about being shorted on something that I know that I get? No, baby. We don't do that. I don't go over there at all. Period. Let me tell you something. It's a million liquor stores. I do not have to go to that one. It's not that. They ain't never been that serious. I wait. I go down the street to 7-Eleven. I go further down to, the AM/PM, wherever I need to go, but I'm not going to go to that one around the corner that's within walking distance, mind you. I'm not going over there because you got me all the way fucked up. If you ain't finna work hard to get my money, I'm not just going to give it to you. That's period, point blank. Anywho, this holiday savings account really needs to be promoted a lot more. I would like to see that from One United Bank. And I'm excited to see what kind of money I get. I think with that $10 a week that I was talking about earlier, I think I'm gonna do this with this account in particular because Now that I've set it up, I can do direct deposit. So I think I'm going to do direct deposit $10 a week. I have another account. I'm going to do $10 a week in that account just to compare the savings account rates. And then I'm going to do $10 a week for my Ally account, and then maybe another $10 with the Vanguard account. So I think saving a total, my total goal, my total goal is to save $200 a week. But that's just me being ambitious and being driven enough to make it happen. So the other amounts will go into the other amounts that will total up to 200 will go into other accounts, and probably put a solid $100 into the Vanguard account as opposed to that $10, because that Vanguard is definitely long-term money, long money, deep pockets. That's what we going for in the next 5 in the next 5, we'll say 5+, really more like the next 3 to 5 years, but we'll say 5+, because I don't plan on taking that money out. I just plan on rolling that money over after a 3-year period, and just really doing some good compounding onto that money and getting even more invested into the stock market over the next 3 years. So those are my short-term goals. But with regards to this account, I will check back in. We'll do a follow-up and just kind of let you guys know what the comparisons are, and what kind of interest rates is going on. Because of course, if you know anything, then you know that there have been some predictions that they are in fact looking at a recession that is going to be worse than the housing market crash in late 2019. So we shall see what happens with that there. They don't know where exactly those who are predicting the 2019 recession don't know where exactly it's going to come from. They don't know if it's going to come from the housing market or if it's coming from somewhere else. So, again, it's not a time to panic, but it is a time to start stacking and making sure that your money is not just doing, whatever. And so one of the things that I didn't mention, and then I'm going to get off of this, that is really cool about the One United bank account that I opened, the holiday savings account. One of the things that's really cool about it is that, so you put money in it, you don't have a debit card, you can do direct deposit to the account, or you can, put the money in the bank, walking into the bank. Most of the One United banks are all down in LA. I believe they have like 8 different locations. So, there's that. Those are a couple of ways to put money in the bank. But then also what happens is, so your money gains interest because it's just a savings account. You don't get a debit card. You can't make any withdrawals. So all the money that is put in there, plus the interest that's earned on that money, come November 1st, beginning of November, they, look at, okay, well, how much money's in there currently, and how much money, how much interest was earned. So they cut you a check for that amount. They cut that check in November, mail it out to you. So So very important to make sure you have the correct information on file. And then that money is for you. Now you can, put that money back in the account and continue, to save. Excuse me. Or you can use that for your holiday spending. Oh, excuse me. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Jeez. You can use that for your holiday spending, if you celebrate Christmas and New Year's and birthdays and anniversaries and all that good stuff. And it really is a great way of you, especially if you plan on, going Black Friday shopping and, really want to be disciplined about saving your money and whatnot and, doing better. I don't encourage going Black Friday shopping. Especially because there were no good deals this year at all. They put regular stuff and it wasn't even on sale. Some stuff was even more, but it's neither here nor there. I know because I go Black Friday shopping and I go for specific things like household goods, like Pyrex dishes and stuff like that. The essentials. That's what I go to Black Friday shopping for. Because if you know anything about Pyrex dishes, they are not cheap. So Black Friday is the perfect time to get those, and that is what I go Black Friday shopping for. Vacuums and stuff, just household goods really is what I go Black Friday shopping for. So I was out, I seen the deals. I was like, this is not a deal. If you're a shopper, then you already know that this is not there. There was nothing about a deal at the major retailers anyway. The black owned businesses really had all the deals, and I really spent most of my money over there with them. I got some good stuff. Most of it was more so for support than it was about actually buying anything for anybody in particular. So, because all the stuff that I bought was just cute little stuff that I like. I bought an outfit for my lingerie lady, and I bought some stuff from the other massage therapist that I've worked with her a few times. And I bought some skincare products and just, stuff. Just, it was more so about supporting my people than it was me actually buying anything that I needed, because all the stuff was just, stuff that I wanted. But it was very important, and I needed to make sure that I supported their entrepreneurial efforts. So I said that to say, and I did get some great products, and, that's where the sales were for sure. So I definitely spent more with them, significant amount more. I spent over I think I spent close to, I probably spent about, I know I spent a little over 100. I probably spent close to about $150, just with the black owned businesses. And I went to Walmart and I spent about 70, $80, if that. So I was very proud of myself about that. But again, the stuff that I bought was household goods and some stuff for my classes, like some of the DIY stuff. So yeah, the measuring cups and stuff, just stuff like that. So that was really great. But it would have been even better if I would have had, a check coming in that I didn't expect or that I forgot about and whatnot. So I definitely think for all those people that are in the struggle, for people that do live paycheck to paycheck, this is a really great option. And One United Bank, you really need to promote this holiday club savings way more than you have been, because I wouldn't have known anything about it had I not come into the bank. So had I not been able to open my business account, I wouldn't have known anything about it. So yeah, there's that note. But I think that's all that I have to say about that. Look into your banks. Look into the local banks the ones that you bank with, and then the ones that you don't bank with, but they're still near you. Look into them and just kind of see what all they offer, because the banks be having some good stuff that they don't like to tell people about, because they're so good, because they're a way to beat the system. So anyways, there's that, and my take on that. And next show, I feel like I have some more stories, but next show, hot topics. Lot going on. And actually, I think so. The next show will be hot topics, and then the show after that will be all about Trump, and just kind of give you a little piece of what's going on over there. So we'll do hot topics for one show, and then what's going on with the with the presidency. Oh, the shenanigans. Until then, I will see you when I see you. And I am out this oh, wait, what the hell happened? How did that? Okay, so something just happened that was not supposed to happen. That happened anyway. And so we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I'm Lady Reese's. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, Lady_Reese's on IG, Lady_Reese's1 on Twitter, Facebook, just look up Reese's, and I will see you next time.
I'm Lady Reese's out. Hostess of the podcast, if you didn't know. Coming through your speakers, all in your stereo. Cutting up every week, cause I got my own show. Just some motivation and some inspiration. Mixed with information for some education. Cutting up the podcast, go subscribe to it.